Hey everyone. You're here at Live Breathe Film. You're here with myself, Murph, Corey, JP, and Doug. So, we're four friends. We love movies. Let's just dive right into it. Today, we'll be talking a little bit of news, the big trending thing going on right now during the pandemic, which is reunions both in movies and television, all taking place on YouTube and elsewhere on the internet. And then we'll go through things that we've watched over the past week and try to give you some recommendations for when you're stuck at home and you've got nothing else to do. But let's get right into news. And the first thing is Hamilton coming to Disney Plus on July 3rd. So that was originally supposed to be a theatrical release for late 2021. Now it was moved up about 16 months and is coming on Disney Plus. You guys going to be watching it?
So what is Hamilton? Like, are we just watching the play or what? I don't really know a lot about it.
I'm pretty sure they filmed the actual play in whatever theater it's in New York City. I think that's where they filmed it and made kind of like expanded the spectacle a little bit because of, the money that they put into it. But I think it's relatively just the live show.
Yeah, no, what you're getting out of it is the original cast. I guess they filmed it 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And it'll be the entire play actually with the original cast on Disney Plus. It might be edited, though. I heard that. Apparently Disney Plus edits their stuff, which I had no idea. It's
because there's cursing, right? Is there cursing in Hamilton?
I think there's cursing and some suggestive stuff. But
the mouse.
The mouse. The mouse censors. And I heard they've been doing it a bunch recently, and people are only figuring it out that Toy Story 2 was censored. They removed the scene from the bloopers with that was referencing Stinky Pete and the casting couch trying to get the Barbie dolls to be in Toy Story 3. That got removed.
Lord.
There was some nudity removed from Splash with Tom Hanks. So is that going to make you? I imagine that's going to make people like a little less interested in watching this if they're expecting to see like this hip hop show and then they're going to be taking out the F-bombs.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that at all. I thought it was just going to be basically like, go to Broadway at home type of thing. Like, watch something without going into the city or going to Broadway.
Yeah, you'll get that too. What's up, JP?
I mean, to be perfectly honest, as someone who hasn't gone out to see it and who doesn't have the, the wallet to go out and see it.
Well, you're not rich because that's the only way to see Hamilton.
Nor do I have a year and a half to wait for tickets. I wouldn't be able to tell the difference that the mouse censored it, but I mean, it's like one of those things where, that's going to probably be the only way I can see it. So
I'm with you, JP. Yeah, I'm with you.
I have a fond memory of when I was a kid. We had a VHS of Cats, the musical.
Oh God!
Which was just straight up. It was Cats, the Broadway show, and they recorded it, and it wasn't weird and CGI, just really creepy people in costumes. But
the movie.
I feel like the format worked back then. It probably works now.
Yeah, no, you bring up a good point. It's a way to watch it if you weren't able to see it, especially with like Lin-Manuel Miranda and stuff.
Yeah,
because obviously none of us saw it. Probably never would have paid the amount that they charged to see it. So I think it's pretty cool that you can just watch it in your house. And I think it's really cool that they didn't wait for it to be in theaters, that they pushed it up as far as they did. Disney Plus has been pretty good with that recently. With like Onward, they threw that on the platform like 2 weeks after they had people paying for it from home. And Star Wars, I think they moved up the release date for Rise of Skywalker. Not that that's necessarily a favor to people since it's not the greatest movie. But they are doing some pretty cool stuff. And I kind of like this move that they're doing here.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, no one else has it. No one has really anything to do while they're sitting in their house. You might as well cash in on it.
Yeah, I'm totally going to watch it.
Yeah, I'll watch it. I think I probably would have preferred like a Les Mis format where they just redid it, maybe with Lin-Manuel. But yeah, I mean, my interest has peaked. It was a popular play. I'll probably go out and see it. Do you guys think it would have made, like, how much money do you guys think The Mouse is losing by releasing it on Disney Plus versus how much they would have made in theaters? Because this was originally a theater release.
I feel like it would have made a decent amount of money because there's a lot of people that, that like it. I think it would get all the fans, all the theater people, and they would go and see it at least once.
Yeah, I'd agree that it would have made a decent chunk of change. But with everything getting postponed in 2021, it probably would have been just way too crowded next fall, and probably would have limited it from what it would have done had this whole pandemic not taken place.
So we all planned to watch it on Disney Plus. I mean, if it was in theaters, would you guys pay to see it?
I would.
I don't think I would.
I'm an A-list member, so I don't pay for my movies. I would absolutely see it.
The only reason why I would is because I've wanted to see it, and I've listened to the music, from the soundtrack from the play like a bunch of times, and it's really good. So I've always had interest in seeing it, but as JP said, it's incredibly expensive, and you have to go on like a huge wait list. So I probably would have gone and seen it. A-list, of course.
Didn't your brother see it, Doug?
Yeah, my brother did one of those lotteries.
Yeah.
And you got to see it in like the third row or something. some crazy thing. He enjoyed it.
$1,000 of tickets.
Is that with the original cast, or?
I think so, yeah.
That's wow.
Wild.
Yeah, he's just a lucky motherfucker. So
that really is winning the lottery, seeing the original cast in the third row.
Yeah.
But eventually, maybe we'll see. Maybe they will do some sort of like Les Mis Cats thing where they'll actually film a movie, like somewhere down the road. They can do some CGI, Lin-Manuel Miranda, de-age them, and do the whole Cats effect.
Some CGI nightmare.
Exactly.
I thought they would have done that by now with Harry Potter. They're definitely going to make like a movie out of it, but I thought they would have at least tried to get fans to double dip.
They're still making a fortune on that, though. It is expensive to go.
Yeah, it is.
In 2 days, they get you with the 2-dayer.
Yep.
And I think with Harry Potter, they're going to want to wait till like Daniel Radcliffe, Emma Watson, and stuff get to the ages
do like a film
that they actually would be, and then do it at that point in time. After the whole Fantastic Beasts thing dies down, or it already is kind of dying.
Yeah,
but actually, once they officially stop that, then they can move on to that movie for the whole Wizarding world. But yeah, that's Hamilton. I don't think we have anything else to talk about on that front. So let's move on to some release date shuffling. Obviously, everything is in flux right now. Things that were going to come out this year, coming out next year. Things are moving by a few months. The latest news we've heard now is New Mutants. The movie that was supposed to come out years ago is now apparently coming out in perhaps the worst possible weekend of the year, in the worst possible year. So it's supposed to come out right before Labor Day, the last weekend in August, during a global pandemic. Do we think this movie, A, is actually going to come out in August, or it's actually ever going to come out in theaters, ever?
I think at this point, I think it will come out in theaters regardless, unless movie theaters are completely just not open yet. But I think of any type of state that the movie theaters are in, Disney's just going to send it out to die. I think they'll put it in theaters, and then within a couple weeks, maybe like 6 weeks, they'll throw it on Disney Plus or Hulu. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, an August 28th release date, I think this shows that they don't give a shit about New Mutants. It just says, like, the fact that they're willing to just throw it in a time where no one's going to go see this movie. It just looks like they've got a contractual obligation to release it in theaters, and they're going to release it in theaters but they don't plan on making any money.
Yeah.
I would be surprised if we don't see any marketing for this movie.
Can't
It looks like they just don't care.
Well, they've been marketing it for a couple years, so they've got some good marketing going on.
Trailers.
If you saw Thor Ragnarok in theaters back in 2017, then you've seen marketing for New Mutants.
Yeah.
I have a bold prediction for the release of this film. I believe it's going to be exclusive direct to DVD, but exclusive to Blockbuster in Oregon. The only one remaining.
The only one left
there on a shelf for 3 weeks.
It's going to be by Russell Crowe's jockstrap that Last Week Tonight sent him. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be on that shelf 3 weeks and then released.
Because, I don't think... I mean, Disney claims Mulan's coming out in July, and Warner Brothers has Tenet and Wonder Woman scheduled for July and August, but I don't think any of us really think any of those are actually going to be coming out this summer.
No way. I don't see that happening.
But there are drive-ins open. There are random theaters throughout the country open. Mm-hmm. So I can see them just throwing New Mutants into those, in whatever's out, whatever's open.
Lamb.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. To see what a new movie can do. Despite the fact that it's very old. And then throw it on like Hulu or something like that. I don't even think they'll bother putting on Disney Plus because they don't want it to be anywhere near the MCU movies.
What horrible, outdated references do you think this movie still has in it?
It's like, I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
What was popular in 2017 when they filmed it? Feels like such a long time ago. The world was a completely different place.
Was that when Ebola was big?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, they'll be talking about whatever pandemic was going on back then.
Yeah, those 3 cases of Ebola,
and then they're just gonna dub it and then throw in coronavirus. It'll be perfectly natural. But that's not the only release date that's gotten switched up recently. The Purge Forever, I believe it's called, the 5th chapter. It's supposed to come out right around 4th of July this year. Universal's just taking it off the board completely. Didn't announce a release date or anything like that. So clearly they don't have high hopes for theaters opening in July. And then Edgar Wright's new movie, Last Night in Soho, I believe it's called, that got pushed to 2021. So they're doing us dirty, Corona. Doing us dirty.
I like it.
I don't like Edgar Wright moving to next year.
No. Gotta keep holding on,
Exactly.
I never get so worried about making it to tomorrow unless there's a movie I want to see in 2021 or 2022.
Otherwise, what's the damn point of this whole thing?
Yeah. Gotta be careful crossing the street.
But we'll get use of the A-lists and things like that in 2021 if AMC is still in business.
I feel like The Purge is probably the perfect movie to do in October. So moving it from the summer to October is not a really bad idea.
Yeah, I like your thinking there. It could be like a Halloween type movie right before the election.
Yeah.
It's always a topical, political type. It's got political undertones and stuff like that. So I think that's actually a good idea. Because right now it seems like all the movies opening in September and October are very horror based. Really starting with New Mutants if it actually comes out. And then we've got Quiet Place 2, Conjuring 3, Candyman, Halloween Kills. All of those are coming out in a 6-7 week span. But you can probably throw The Purge out 2 weeks after Halloween, right around Halloween. And I like that idea. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Because people thought Saw would be coming out then, but they pushed that up a whole year. So I think that would be the perfect movie, actually. I like your thinking, JP.
Quiet Place just missed getting screwed, didn't they? Weren't they ready to release right before the coronavirus?
Yeah, it was supposed to come out like Black Widow, right at the
because I remember
0 hour.
Krasinski was out promoting the movie, and then it just they just had to pull it.
Yeah, he was supposed to host SNL, I think, maybe a week before everything happened, and now he's. Wouldn't surprise me if he ends up hosting like the season premiere of SNL, like a few weeks after Quiet Place comes out. But again, that's pending what actually happens over the next few months. All right, let's move on to the big topic of today, which is reunions that are taking place during the pandemic. Now, obviously, they are not face-to-face reunions. They're all taking place over Zoom, other forms of telecommunication while everyone's home and has nothing to do. You're seeing casts that you never would have thought would be back together, or particular members of casts who you would have thought you've gotten a little bigger than the rest of the people that they were on their respective TV shows or movies, and they're actually being a part of this too. So that's one pretty neat thing that we're seeing out of this whole situation. But the biggest one over the past week, I think we would all agree, was on Josh Gad's Reunited Apart series on YouTube, and it was highlighting Back to the Future. All four of us, huge Back to the Future fans. We probably, between the four of us, can answer any trivia question in relation to the movie. If we couldn't, that's because somebody's guess has watched it more than us. But what did you guys all think about the reunion? Anyone missing from it that you were particularly bummed about? Doug, you're our resident Back to the Future guy. You want to kick us off?
Yeah, so I loved the Back to the Future reunion. I thought you could really tell that Josh Gad was a fan of the show. I love that he got the cast involved in repeating lines that each one of us could quote that are famous from the movie. I thought the whole thing was a lot of fun. It was fun to see everybody together again, not in the room but through Zoom. Obviously, Crispin Glover is
he's the
guy that was missing from the whole thing. I don't know that any one of us expected him to show up because he doesn't show up to anything Back to the Future.
But I could have used it.
Yeah, it would have been great to see him, but I mean, the guy didn't even show up for Back to the Future 2 and 3, so I mean,
they didn't show him the money.
Yeah,
he had to pass.
They don't have that hot tub time machine money.
There's only one hot tub time machine.
It's a shame.
I completely forgotten he was in that.
Yeah, I watched that recently.
I love that role for him too.
Oh yeah,
the arm gag where he's missing the arm. I think you're trying to figure out.
It kind of reminds me of Chris Elliott in Scary Movie 2 with like the strong hand, but he's got the arm.
Pretty much. But comic relief in that movie that really needs it,
Exactly. But what about you guys, Corey, JP? What did you think of it?
I mean, I thought it was awesome. I really liked it. What Doug said, was nostalgic. Josh Gad definitely came off as a fan, and they made the whole Zoom reunion kind of thing that's been happening, with a lot of different fandoms. Made it a little unique and made it fun for Back to the Future fans. I really would have liked to see Thomas F. Wilson there, but he wasn't. So it was cool to see, the second video with him. Yeah,
I was bummed that he wasn't. That was my feeling when it ended was, where the hell's Biff? Because I didn't expect Crispin Glover to appear. So when they did that thing a few days later where he showed up, threw a few lines of dialogue as Biff out, that was pretty awesome.
But he basically did the whole thing in character, didn't he? He basically did it as Biff.
Basically, yeah.
Which was neat. It was a nice surprise that he showed up. I don't know why he wasn't there with the rest of the cast. If there was a scheduling issue or...
I have to imagine it was either scheduling or technology, one of those two things.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get the Zoom to work.
Exactly. I mean, you see people... There, right? Yeah, we've all been there. You see people at work all have that problem. So...
There's been some bad ones.
Uh-huh.
People bringing the Zoom into the bathroom with them.
Oh, my God.
You've dealt with that? Oh, that's incredible.
Oh yeah, no, and yeah, it's like 0 hour, and then they realize it's there, and they flip the camera or the phone down or whatever.
Oh shit!
Oh, wow.
Ooh, that's not the type of team building I want to be doing.
I was
Oh, my
seeing
God.
down in Florida, they were having cases where like lawyers and shit like that like weren't dressed for the cases, just like in their bed,
Just like
and
waist up.
the judge is like, "What the hell? Like, get out of bed for this." Doug, you're a lawyer.
Ebenezer Scrooge nightcap on, and they're just like rolling out of bed.
Exactly, Doug. As a lawyer, have you had this problem? Have you been laying in bed and not dressing for?
No, thankfully I don't go to court. But you know, if you're going to go to court, I mean, how hard is it to put on a shirt and tie and just look presentable? I mean, it's easy enough. You don't have to go to court and actually sit there. You can do it from the comfort of your own home. Throw on a jacket, throw on a tie.
Yeah. What bothers me though is when people do that, but they don't even bother putting any sort of pants on. Like I've seen newscasters go on or people getting interviewed and they're wearing a professional like outfit on top and then they're just in their boxers. Like at least throw on some shorts or something in the chance that the camera hits you. Like
Steve Mariucci did that during the draft.
Really?
And he stood up and he showed everyone. It was a point of pride.
All right, well, at least if he's joking about it, it's a little bit different.
It was like the Wild West of broadcasting before, this all started. The NFL draft was sort of like one of the first.
Yeah, it was kind of like
these live home broadcasts.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But going back to the Future, Doug, you had mentioned them doing the line readings and stuff like that. What was so cool, I thought, was Michael J. Fox doing it. I thought he did like pitch perfect like reenactments of his lines in Back to the Future. For his condition, it's amazing what he can do when he's acting.
Yeah.
So I know
I was wondering if
awesome.
He had like some sort of new treatment or something that was letting him, because I've never seen him speak as well as he did during that reenactment part, and I don't know if it was treatment or if it's just he gets in the zone when he's acting. And
I kind of feel like it's getting in the zone when acting. Like I know James Earl Jones, he has like a crazy stutter, and like when he's acting, like it'd go away. That was a thing like way back in the day. But he had a show on NBC, I don't know, like 5 years ago. I didn't watch it at all, but I have to imagine he can act. He must act well and pretty decently if NBC just throws a show on his lap. So
yeah, I watched it because I'm a huge Michael J. Fox fan.
Oh, okay.
And it was,
you watched Spin City too.
Yeah, I love Spin City.
It's a good show.
I even watched the Charlie Sheen era after Michael J. Fox had to leave.
You and 500 people.
Man.
It was a good show. But yeah, no, I love Michael J. Fox. It's hard to tell with something produced like that that's a TV show because they can cut it.
Sure.
So I thought maybe it had to do with that, but I always think it's a shame because Michael J. Fox was a hell of an actor, and I always anytime I see him, I'm like, if he didn't get Parkinson's, it's crazy to think what he could have done.
Yeah. Well, thankfully he took his situation and he's kind of handled it as well as he possibly can. He's done a lot of good for people with Parkinson's based on his foundation and things like that. But if anyone else has any last words on Back to the Future, we can dive into some other reunions that we would like to see moving forward.
Definitely. Let's move on.
Let's get in.
All right, so diving back into reunions. Going with the movie theme, it seems like with the Reunited Apart series, Josh Gad's going with like the 80s classic type movies because he's done the Goonies so far, Back to the Future. So what 80s, 90s cast reunion would you guys like to see next on this series or just in general? Corey, I'll start with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the movie that I'd like to see is a reunion for is Empire Records. I don't know if you guys remember that mid-90s movie about
unfortunately
a bunch of
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's just a quintessential like '90s film with great music about kids in the '90s that work at a record store and just the zany shit that goes on. I love that movie. I loved it when I was growing up, and I still love it now. And that would just be I don't know what a lot of those actors would look like now. I mean, Tara Reid was in that. I'm trying to think who else. There's a bunch of actors that are in it that definitely look completely different now. So it would be an interesting reunion. And also, I don't know how they would actually get them back story wise, but I would like to see that. It's one of my favorite '90s movies.
Yes, that is a reunion that I would not like to see.
Have you even seen the movie?
You forced me to watch it on occasion, and
have I?
This argument for like 20 years now.
You should not be surprised that I would not be looking forward to this.
I don't remember ever forcing you to see that movie.
I mean,
or
you
watch
didn't
that movie, rather.
Tie me up and like make put my eyes open like Clockwork Orange, but you'd have it on, and I would have to be like, okay, this movie's stupid, and just make fun of it the entire time. But yes, if you going into another '90s movie, that's kind of a similar one that I was very much leaning on, including as my own, which is a similar vibe, although it doesn't take place in the '90s. It would be Dazed and Confused. That one would be fucking awesome. Although it's early '90s, takes place in the '70s, and you'd get some huge actors if you were to do a reunion with that. You got McConaughey, Ben Affleck, Parker Posey, a lot of people. Joey Lauren Adams. I can't think of everyone off the top of my head, but it had a stacked cast, and that one I would like to see because I think Empire Records tried to do what Dazed and Confused did for the '70s, but for the '90s, and it just didn't work for me. But I know plenty of people who it worked for and who fucking love the movie, so I hope you get to see your reunion. I just won't be watching
it. Ooh. That's
shade. What about you?
Yeah, so my movie reunion isn't going to come as much of a surprise to anybody on this chat, but I'm going to have to say it's Jurassic Park. I may be jumping the gun a little bit because we may be getting a Jurassic Park reunion, at least with the main three in the next Jurassic Park installment.
Jurassic World installment.
I'd love Jurassic World. Good correction.
Which means it won't be nearly as good.
Then we'll get Chris Pratt. But yeah, just seeing Sam Neill, Goldblum, Laura Dern together is something that I've looked forward to for a while. All the Jurassic Parks, they kind of tease. You get one or two of them, but you never get all three. It's a shame we don't get any Richard Attenborough because unfortunately he passed away.
Rest in peace.
That would have been nice to see him with the three of them as well, and bring back Samuel L. Jackson.
Bring back his arm.
Yep.
Bring back his arm.
He's just a hand puppet the whole time.
And then I believe Muldoon passed away as well, unfortunately.
What about the lawyer?
I don't know how the lawyer's doing.
I don't know about the lawyer.
They can bring him back.
That would be great.
I know they can't bring back Dotson. He has a pretty bad criminal record. If you guys aren't aware, but oh yeah,
really?
Google.
No, I didn't know.
No, not anymore. Dotson.
Oh, Dotson. Okay,
Wayne Knight. He's golden. But
oh yeah, Wayne Knight.
You'd have to
got worked up real bad right there. Oh yeah, he's got to make that.
They got to bring back the
that high pitched.
I'm not convinced that was him. I think they like dubbed some sort of dinosaur noise that they recorded there.
That's why you need a reunion. These questions
they need to bring back the Barbasol can. I think that was one thing. I was always hoping they would have made one where somebody has to go rescue or find the Barbasol can, but I think that thing only lasted like a week. So that
yeah, for sure. I mean, they could have just inserted it in there. That would have made a really interesting movie. Now you're going on a an island that's infested with dinosaurs to go get a can of shaving cream in a very limited period of time.
If they ever want, they could do like some sort of prequel movie that takes place right after Jurassic Park with like new characters and like Dotson
that would be cool.
Gets people to have to go to the island.
Flying in a hurricane and like...
I'd see it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
It sounds a lot like a Rogue One Jurassic Park.
It kind of does.
I was a big fan of Rogue One. I like heist movies.
But,
or you just make it like Ocean's 11.
Yeah, exactly.
Jurassic Park.
Just have...
So like as soon as he drops the can, someone just like Brad Pitt walks over and picks it up. And then they just show the whole thing of him in the background.
Brad
of the
Pitt
movie
would be putting the shaving cream on his pie and eating it because...
That's true.
All Brad Pitt does in Ocean's 11 is eat.
It's already set up, so when he puts the shaving cream on the pie in the beginning, Brad Pitt walks by and eats it. He's been watching him the whole time.
Yeah, I think we're all in agreement that we would like to see that reunion.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I'd love it.
What about you, JP? What are you looking forward to potentially happening?
All right, so short of a National Lampoon Senior Trip reunion, which I know everyone's
got to get Jeremy Renner back.
Gotta, and then whoever else was in that movie. Home Alone would be great. Home Alone would be fantastic. You got Macaulay Culkin doing his own thing with his podcast. Maybe he gets them to come in, finds Joe Pesci under a rock somewhere, drags him in with promises of, I don't know what motivates Joe Pesci, but I'd imagine it's like violence. Or
no, he just calls him and says, Marty's here. Just call in. You just got to trick him.
That's true.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind Marty Scorsese being on it for no reason other than just to get Joe Pesci in. But,
he could ask the fan questions like J.J. Abrams did.
Yeah. He's the moderator, yeah. And, David Stern and Catherine O'Hara, that'd be fantastic. I would love that.
Yeah, and Catherine O'Hara, she's just pretty popular right now with Schitt's Creek and everything, so her profile's up.
And she's
hilarious.
Wild. She is just out there. Yeah. Oh, it'd be fantastic. That'd be a really good cast to see again. Just a whole bunch of really...
And do they bring anyone back from the sequel? Do you get Pigeon Lady? Is Pigeon Lady alive?
Maybe we get Donald Trump.
I was just thinking Trump.
I didn't even think about that.
Make it timely.
Cameo.
He has like the one line where it's like, it's that way, or...
Yeah. Yeah, he like pulls on his coat or something like that, and it's Donald Trump, or maybe they get the cab driver.
Oh.
That horrifying cab driver.
Oh, you can get Rob Schneider.
Oh, Rob Schneider. There we go.
He'll bring Adam Sandler.
He would definitely do it.
And giggles.
Boney, Bob, and Cliff.
Yeah, Adam Sandler would just show up for no reason.
Probably, yeah.
And like maybe 3 of their other cronies that are in Adam Sandler movies.
And sure. I would want Buzz's girlfriend, Woof, to appear in present day.
You can even get Kieran Culkin to come too, since he was what was he, Fuller, little kid that pees the bed. There you go.
What about the shovel guy from the first one?
There's no way he's
Pigeon Lady is still alive. Brenda Fricker.
Check the shovel.
You know I'm already checking.
Yeah, I gotta doubt he is.
I don't see it. I mean, I rest in peace.
Unfortunately,
guy, but
yes. Roberts Blossom passed away in 2011, so he would not be able to make it.
Oh wow!
Along with Mr. McAllister, he would not be able to make it, and John Candy.
He passed away too
recently.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
Those are the 3 big ones who would not be able to return, but.
The actor who played Mr. McAllister passed away pretty recently, too.
John Hurd.
It was last year.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah,
that's terrible.
Oh, but I would love to see that reunion. I think we're all in agreement there that would be fantastic.
Great. Yeah, that's a good pick.
I feel like it's a pretty logical progression for, like you go from Goonies, you go Back to the Future. I mean, as you creep forward in time.
Just creep.
I mean, that's one of the bigger movies from the early 90s.
And I am going to pivot now to my movie, which was another Catherine O'Hara movie in Beetlejuice. So I was
That's a
tossing
good one.
between Home Alone and Beetlejuice. Ultimately went to Beetlejuice because the cast is there's more people that could potentially be in it. And the names are just bigger overall, so I think that'd be a lot of fun. You get Michael Keaton in there with Alec Baldwin,
Oh, yeah.
Catherine
Oh, yeah,
O'Hara, Gina Davis,
Yeah.
Winona Ryder. Like, that cast has had huge popularity over the past 5 years, like a resurgence for nearly every one of them that I just said. You get Baldwin on
All of them,
SNL. You've got Winona Ryder with Stranger Things, Michael Keaton with
Yep.
Spider-Man, and the other stuff he's been doing recently, Birdman, and then Catherine O'Hara with Schitt's Creek. I think that one would be hilarious. And Tim, you get
And then the
you
dad's
can't
in
get
jail.
Jeffrey Jones. That would be a problem. But and Otho has unfortunately passed. But other than
Blanche
that, you're doing
Addicts,
pretty
man.
well with getting people back
Sad.
into to be available for a reunion. Tim Burton, you can get him. I think that's
Yeah. I feel like that's
think
the
it's
most
realistic.
likely one.
I
Yeah.
It's a
don't
good
see
one.
anyone like being like, no, I'm too big for that or anything like that. I mean, you hear whispers every once in a blue moon about like a Beetlejuice sequel, and do I
Yeah,
think it's
Beetlejuice
actually
in
going to
Hawaii.
ever happen? Nope. But this is something that could potentially actually spark, like, get people excited for it. Because I feel like you're going to get a lot of people from these reunions, like the cast members reuniting and just talking, like, what if we did another one? And studios
sometimes that's
seeing,
all
like,
it
if they
takes.
get, let's say Beetlejuice gets crazy views on YouTube, they'll be like, all right, people clearly are interested in this. Time to greenlight this movie. Let's get a script. So
I think it eventually all comes down to how well Ghostbusters Afterlife does.
yeah,
Because that's the reunion. From 2016 on, it's been get those people in the same room, and now they're making that movie. And if that bombs, I feel like the idea of these resurgence of old movies picking up where they left off 20, 30 years later is probably going to go.
yeah. I mean, there's only so many legacy sequels that are probably left at this point to make. I mean, they're going to do Beverly Hills Cop 4 soon. Ghostbusters, like you said.
That's a pretty safe bet.
Bill and Ted.
Yeah, Bill and Ted, true.
I mean, Jurassic World 3 is basically what I think people would have liked to see from the start. Kind of getting the Han, Luke, and Leia of our generation back together all at once.
You weren't satisfied by the 2 minutes of Jeff Goldblum?
Were they the very
like a courtroom
a very
scene
clear
or
bait and switch? Like, we knew he wasn't going to be in anything other than that one scene based on the trailers.
It wasn't Godzilla.
They didn't throw a Cranston.
Yeah, Bryan
on us
Cranston.
where, you get one of the greatest actors of our generation, and then take him out of the movie, and you watch Kick-Ass for the rest of it.
Not that there's anything
he's a
wrong
pretty
with
good actor.
Kick-Ass, but it was more Kick-Ass
yes,
too.
I think you're right about that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I'd definitely like to see this Beetlejuice one. I'd like to see pretty much everyone that we talked about. I won't bust balls on Empire Records anymore. Maybe I would actually watch it just for because I have nothing else. I have nothing else to do
Tara
right now.
Reid do stuff.
So why not?
Hey, look, it's Tara Reid.
So we're also
Give it another chance.
We're also getting a Matrix.
Good point.
Too.
We are now getting legacy sequels to movies of like the late '90s, early 2000s. But
Who wanted a new Matrix? Anyone here?
I mean,
if it's good,
yeah, if it's good. I mean,
me.
I hope it's good. If it's bad, no, I do not want it. But
if it's
So
in
it's going
line,
to be like a wait and see sort of thing. Because I mean, after Matrix 3, I'm like,
yeah,
do without it.
That they had a lot of studio pressure. I'm sure a lot of studio notes and all that with the second and third one. They made them back to back too. There wasn't a whole lot of time.
It's not like it's gotten better though.
No, but I've gone back and watched one over and over again, and I mean
first
that's
one's
still a great
fantastic.
movie.
and the back to
There are redeeming qualities of the second one too.
the back to back thing rarely
But that
works.
third one.
I mean, I'd say Lord of the Rings is the prime example of working. Was Endgame and Infinity War like truly back to back, or was there? They were pretty damn close.
Were pretty close.
I think
Yeah.
So that would be
No,
the other example of something working. Other than that, like Pirates of the Caribbean, pretty weak. With the sequels back to
People
back.
think Back to the Future 2 and 3.
It works to a degree.
Worked.
JP, you were shaking your head about Pirates,
I thought the second one was pretty good.
and I feel like with a lot of,
and we talked. I actually talked about this with my wife today.
yes.
The third one was horrible.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one, I don't remember, even though I've seen. And the fifth one I watched because of Javier Bardem.
I like that one.
I've never
don't
seen
remember anything about
I haven't seen the fourth one either. It's now on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna finally give it a shot.
I didn't think I saw it, and then I remembered Ian McShane is Blackbeard, and I was like, I've
Or did you see the
definitely
trailer?
seen that. I've seen it for
Okay,
longer
okay.
than 3 minutes, I feel like. Unless he was in
No,
the
he
fifth
wasn't in the
one.
fifth one.
No? Yeah, I
Okay.
think I watched it. Sometimes I do that. I'll watch a movie that's terrible, and I'll forget that
But
I
it's-
watched it.
We are completely going to a different topic, but I'm enjoying it, so we're going to continue with it.
Oh, yeah.
When you go
let's
with
roll
those parts 2 and 3 back to back, how many times though do you notice that huge drop off in the third one versus the second one? Like,
Almost always.
I think we would all
Yeah.
agree we like Back to the
Yeah,
Future 2
monumentally
a lot
more
more than
than
3.
Yeah, even though I enjoy 3 more now than I did when I was
Because
a kid.
it's slower
I don't know why.
and it's definitely slower paced. And when you're a kid, you like the super fast paced craziness of 2. I mean, I still love that.
I
Flying
like
train
the
is
flying
cool.
train.
Flying train is cool.
It was about
But
it. Yeah, that was about it.
yeah, no, it definitely is better watching it as an adult, I would say, than as a kid. I would agree with that. But Matrix 2 and 3, I think we all agree that Reloaded was better than Revolutions. Or at least more fun. Like, and like when seeing it in theaters, it was definitely better. Pirates 2, Dead Man's Chest, better than At World's End. Can we think of any other examples of ones that have gone back to back?
Just back to back.
So I'm interested to see what Avatar's 6 movies back to back looks like.
Well, I'll
That'll
tell
be
you
just
when we're
as bad
fucking
as the
50
first
years
one.
old, because these things are getting delayed every goddamn year. So I think the 5th one right now is,
He's waiting for new technology.
And they're still giving him more money.
It's probably gonna be like 2030 by the time these movies like are done coming out. Maybe even by the time they start coming out, it'll be 2030. But
Is
yeah, I
Sam
think it's his
Worthington
first
still
movie in
in?
like 5 years.
Is
Probably.
that the only paycheck he's been getting?
Yeah, I haven't seen him in anything. He's not relevant
After
anymore.
Terminator,
It
it's
didn't work
like-
out.
Catapulted into James Cameron's compound. James
lives
Cameron
there.
just pretty much after Terminator opened, he goes, I own you now, so come along. Let's go make some movies. I'm going to paint you blue in the next one. Yeah. I'm sure there are more of them. I'm sure there are some really ill-advised action. Well, Fast and Furious. They get worse.
But there's so much
every
fun in their
single
ridiculousness.
time.
Doug, one of these days you're gonna have to go through the Fast and Furious series.
I stopped at Tokyo Drift.
Oh, you saw the first 3?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, dude,
yeah.
you have like still a little bit of climbing to go. It's like a little dip at 4, but then like 5 is like, and then it's just.
It gets really dumb.
How do you
see
feel about
Hobbs
them
and
all
Shaw,
becoming
too.
superheroes?
Yeah, them
They're
and Tom
definitely going to
Cruise,
the
they'll all
moon
go
soon,
together.
or space, probably.
I mean,
yeah.
I definitely like the
The
absurdity
space
of it.
movie.
I've just embraced it. The fact that it's gone this far, who the fuck would have
Yeah.
thought that back in 2001? I like they keep the soap
wish
opera
for it.
going in a ridiculous fashion. So I don't know. I'm a sucker for these movies, even if I know that they're getting pretty stale. All right, let's pivot though. Let's go to TV. We're seeing some other reunions taking place. Some smaller, more seemingly a little more impromptu than others. But we've gotten a few recently. we've got The Office, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and Community. And then, obviously, Parks and Rec was the big one. Who here saw The Office reunion?
I saw it.
You saw it? The other guys?
Yeah.
You haven't seen it yet?
I've been pretty bad with watching these things. I know that they're coming out, and I know it seems really cool. And it's
I'll give you a little background on this one for The Office. So John Krasinski, ever since COVID-19 started, he created this little YouTube series called Some Good News. And basically, the point of the show is to highlight the good that's going on in the world, just kind of keep things positive. He just does it from his house, or Emily Blunt's house, both their houses. And on this most recent installment, what he did was he had two Office fans on the show who got engaged in a similar fashion to Jim and Pam, where they got engaged outside of a truck stop. Somebody filmed it on a iPhone or something like that. I guess they sent it to them or it went viral or something. And he had them on their show. So they're on the show and John Krasinski's basically like, hey, well, I'm going to marry you guys right now. He whips out his certificate of whatever that thing is called where you can marry people. Goes through, invites the parents of both the bride and the groom onto the Zoom chat and everything like that. The best friends and invites Pam as well, Jenna Fisher. So he has them marry each other, and then right after that, now he's like, now we have to have the party, and he brings everyone from The Office to do the scene from Jim and Pam's wedding where they're walking down the aisle and they're doing the dancing to the Chris Brown song. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. I think the only person who wasn't in it was Stanley. But otherwise every cast member's on. They're doing the same dances and stuff that they were doing in that episode. Kevin's got his whole tissue boxes on his feet. It's ridiculous, but it was another thing that just put a smile on my face.
That's awesome.
Do you think we're going to see something else out of that whole group before it's all said and done, based on what we're seeing with Parks, Community, and things like that?
I hope so. I thought that was a nice little tease. I love that everybody recreated their dances from the wedding. You even had Rainn Wilson kick his wife in the face, which was pretty awesome. It made me really want to see them come together for a real reunion because they all just kind of filmed. It was all them separate, although they were together on the screen. They all filmed it separately, so you didn't really get them interacting. I'd love for them to just sit down and talk, and just kind of what we saw with Back to the Future, just seeing all those guys interact together again. I think would be awesome.
Yeah, and what I think's pretty cool is seeing Steve Carell as involved as he's been in with The Office in years. It seemed like once he left the show, he just kind of wanted to move past it a little bit. He appeared very briefly in the series finale. Sorry, spoiler alert, Corey. But he lately he's been doing a lot of stuff with John Krasinski. He's appeared on this show, Some Good News, multiple times already. The Office seems bigger than it's ever been.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we can actually say it is bigger than it's ever been. It seems like everyone now watches it on Netflix.
Yeah, when you're home and you have Netflix, it kind of your hand just goes to The Office. So now that everyone's home and probably everyone has Netflix.
Even before the pandemic, it seemed like it was catching.
Oh, yeah. It just seems like a show that a reboot is inevitable. I'm just wondering what the best way of rebooting that would be, because I don't think you get
a reboot of a reboot.
I don't think you get Steve. Yeah, exactly. I don't think you get Steve Carell on it as a regular. It just doesn't make sense based on how the show ended and things like that. So I don't know how they're going to pull it off, but I feel like they have to do something because there's so much money to be made off this, and I think if you do it right, there's a lot of laughs.
Yeah, so I thought I had heard that there was some bad blood when Steve Carell left originally.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where I heard this, so don't take it as gospel by any means. But I thought I heard there was bad blood and that Steve Carell had actually expected to stay on longer than he had been. There was like some contractual negotiations that um, didn't work out the way that he thought they would, and so he left.
Like he wanted to stay.
Yeah, like he kind of wanted to stay.
That'd be
I
interesting.
don't know. Yeah, I'll see if I can dig that up and wherever I heard that, but that's something that I heard. I don't know if it's true, but
Interesting. Let's move on though to the next reunion. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. This was one that Will Smith had on in like his Snapchat or something. I don't think any of us use Snapchat, but yeah, he did like a 10, 12-minute reunion with all the living cast members. So it was everyone except for Uncle Phil and then the original actress who was Aunt Viv, since she has bad blood with Will Smith, hence her being replaced. But everyone was on that. So you had like Jeffrey, Carlton, the whole crew. It was pretty cool just seeing everyone back together. Again, something real quick. I don't think we'll ever see a real reunion for Fresh Prince because of James Avery passing. He was such a huge part of the show.
yeah.
But just getting them on screen talking and reminiscing about the old days. Will Smith was talking about how he gets more questions and people coming up to him about Fresh Prince than anything else he's done, which is pretty wild when you think about how huge a career that he's had. But Doug, I think you watched that one as well.
Yeah, I did. It was really nice to see. It seems like everyone gets along well. They almost seemed like a family coming together.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't seem forced. It seemed like you could tell that these people really liked each other, and you could tell that they all kind of viewed each other. I think the woman that played Ashley Banks, one of the youngest Banks daughter,
Tatiana Ali.
she looked. You could tell that she looked to, and she mentioned it, that she looked to Will Smith as kind of like a mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And Will Smith encouraged her to go to college, and it just felt like a family coming together more than a cast, and that was really nice. I'm sure it would have even felt. You could tell even when they were talking about James Avery that they just every one of them had a reverence for him as a person.
And some of them were crying just watching the clips that Will was showing.
Yeah, it was a really enjoyable reunion. I thought. Highly recommend it for anyone that watched Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, just because, it just felt like a family coming together.
Yeah, it's on. That's how I watched it. It was on YouTube.
Yeah, I watched it on YouTube too.
And it's such a quick watch. It's such a quick watch that I would definitely recommend it for anyone who's ever watched and enjoyed the show. And lastly, we've got, for those who watched this pretty crazy show in the early 2010s, we have Community, one of the Office's and Parks and Rec stablemates on NBC on Thursday nights. So today, actually, they put out a table read that the whole cast, with the exclusion of Chevy Chase, recorded. Yeah, it would have been great to have Chevy Chase back, but no way would that have actually happened.
That's a big ding for me.
So what they did was record one of the episodes right after Chevy Chase's character, Pierce Hawthorne, passed away. And it was kind of a bottle episode where everyone was just in the library going over Pierce's will and everything like that. So it was actually, I believe, Donald Glover's second to last episode on the show. But that was the big get. They got back Donald Glover, who hadn't done anything community related since midway through season 5. He didn't ever come back and do a cameo or anything like that. Hasn't been in any sort of reunions. Now he's been kind of all in. He was on the Darkest Timeline podcast with that Ken Jeong and Joel McHale do. So they did a whole reunion after this table read where he was a part of it with everyone else. they actually joked about the fact that he was not included on their group chat. So I guess, they've had like a cast group chat going since back when the show, I guess, was on or right when it ended. And I guess they just thought Donald Glover was too cool to be on it. So he's like, what the hell, man? I was going to suggest this. We start a group chat. But yeah, today on YouTube, they dropped that table read along with a Q&A as well. Obviously, none of us have gotten a chance to watch it yet, but you guys planning on watching it? You looking forward to potentially getting that movie out of 6 seasons and a movie that they've been joking about for practically close to a decade at this point?
I mean, I'm.
Yeah, I mean,
You can go ahead, Corey.
no, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, I definitely will check it out. I mean, it's been a long time since I've watched the show, so I would need to go back and, watch the entire show again. I don't even think I saw the last season.
On Yahoo
I remember
Screen?
the last season wasn't good, right?
It suffered because at that point so many of the cast members had left. I mean, it was really only like 4 of the original cast members. Well, no, 6 of the cast members, but 4 from the study group. But you didn't have Donald Glover, Chevy Chase, Yvette Nicole Brown. You didn't even have like John Oliver or Starburns, like a lot of the tertiary characters. So it was weak, but at least I had Dan Harmon writing it.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely check it out. I will definitely check it out, and a reunion would be. I mean, that would be cool. It would be.
Yeah, I'm all for watching it. I actually watched that episode fairly recently. We've been doing a little bit of a community rewatch in the house. A movie, I want no part with a revived TV show movie. I feel like I've been burned countless number of times for stuff like that, and I watch it and it's just like sucks the life out of me, and I don't know if I could do that. If you get Chevy Chase back, maybe we're talking, but I sort of just went behind the scenes,
just a huge asshole.
Chevy Chase being an asshole to people.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they could get him for
really
like
all I want.
I feel like the best case scenario is you got him in his own solo scene for like a post credits thing, similar to how they had him as like a hologram or whatever after his character died at the beginning of season 5 when Dan Harmon like returned.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I would like to see it for really just for the closure of a fucking hashtag. Like it was always hashtag 6 seasons in a movie. I just want it to come true.
Just make the meme come true, right?
To see Troy back in the group, see him and Abed together one last time would be sick. And I think it would just be a Netflix thing anyway, so it's not like we'd be paying for it. We'd just be watching it from our houses. Since now that it's on Netflix, it's getting kind of a revived audience. It seems like that's the studio that would be interested in doing anything. Because I think studios realize like these are niche audiences. They're not going to make money in a movie theater. Like it's not like the days of throwing the X-Files in a movie theater or like Rugrats or SpongeBob. Only so many TV shows can actually make money in a movie theater, and Community, it's not one of them. But exactly,
couldn't
like,
even really
you
make
gave
money
it out
on
for
TV.
free on Channel 4, and you couldn't even get people to watch it. So, all right, let's move on. Do something similar to what we did before with the movie reunions, and talk TV reunions and what dream TV show cast do you want to see reunite in one aspect or another, whether it's a full-fledged like kind of episode, a new episode of the program like Parks and Rec did, or if it's a table read, or if it's just a Q&A. What do you guys got? What do you want to see coming back during this pandemic? So they're not going to be together.
The first thing I did when I was stuck at home is I went to Hulu and I started the first of 13 seasons of King of the Hill. And I watched nothing until it was done. So I would love for some of them to come, like Mike Judge, with Stephen Root. Brittany Murphy's not coming back.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace. But just all of them to come back and do almost like a podcast, no video readout of an episode. That would be fantastic. Like an old school radio show, something like
They
that.
could They could do like a brand new episode where they just do like a radio program. Don't even do animation.
That would be fantastic. And you look at the amount of like star killer type cameos they had in that show. I bet you they could probably get some people back for it. Like there have been huge names in that show.
Mm-hmm.
And that would just be fun to watch. I guess actually Brittany Murphy and I forgot who played Lucky. It's on the tip of my tongue. Guy that's saying Free Fallen.
Tom Petty.
Tom Petty. Yeah, Tom Petty. Obviously, neither one of them would be able to reprise their role, but you know, it'd be fantastic.
Who would you
I
get?
would listen to that.
Who would you get to replace Brittany Murphy if they were to record an
Honestly,
episode?
I'd write them out. I would just because they're both married in the show, have them be off doing their own thing and just sort of focus on
do the Brian O'Connor route, going back to Fast and Furious. Yeah,
because they had their baby and they moved out, be it across the street, but you know, it'd be nice to see. I feel like that would be really neat to do. It's just like an old radio time play just on a podcast. No Zoom meeting is involved. Just record it and go. You know.
Awesome. Yeah, I'd be interested in seeing that. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll go into Corey's pick. All right, so we're talking TV show reunions right now. Our Dreamcast reunions during COVID-19, and what we'd like to see next. Corey, you're up. Who do you want to see reunite?
So I would very much like to see a third time Firefly come back. I would like Joss Whedon to get another shot, at bringing that world back to some sort of medium. I think that I liked Serenity a lot, the movie, but I think that the show in that original form it got canceled way too early, and I think it definitely deserves another shot. I mean, at this point, I still think the actors could do it. Nathan Fillion, I think he could jump right back into that role. And Alan Tudyk, and all the other cast members from the show. I'm pretty sure that they joke about it all the time at like conventions and stuff.
So how are they going to pull this off on a Zoom?
That's what I would like to see.
Has Corona gone into space in the future? That'd be scary. Maybe that's how that's how it all started. Was the whole everything goes really downhill, and let's hope not. But yeah, Firefly. I don't know.
They could be isolated in their spaceship, and it's just them talking the whole
that's
time.
true. You could do it that way.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that show took place on the ship. There really wasn't a lot that took place. The movie had like action set pieces, but the show was very limited because there wasn't a big budget. So they could definitely follow, that sort of model where they're just on the.
A couple cast members died in the movie, right? So be a little smaller reunion. I think only like two regulars died.
Little, but I mean, there was two.
Have you guys seen Firefly?
Two regulars died
or Serenity?
In Serenity. So
I've seen Serenity. I don't remember a thing about it. I saw Serenity first, and then I saw Firefly.
Interesting way of watching.
So what's interesting is like Serenity was a movie release, and you went into theater. Or I went into theaters thinking
you saw it in theaters.
Yeah. I went into it thinking like, okay, I can just jump in. They're releasing it in theaters to an audience. Not everyone's seen Firefly.
That's actually what I did with X-Files.
Oh Lord!
I think I maybe saw one episode, and otherwise just read about it on TV.
Isn't it like 9 seasons of a television show.
And I think it was like a mythology type movie. Like you needed to be aware of what was going on. It wasn't like standalone. So I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh my lord!
You're like, these FBI agents have really like gone off the deep end, huh?
So you weren't really following the plot of Serenity?
No, not at all.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good movie. It was especially really good for the fans. It was done very well, but I think the execution, I don't know what they were thinking with how they did it. Like I remember even when they marketed it, they didn't really market it
That's
as
how they got Doug.
Firefly. Like Firefly.
Come see the space sci-fi movie.
It was just very bizarre. I mean, the movie definitely stands on its own. You can watch it without watching the show, but you lose.
You know what? I've never seen either one of them. I'll watch the movie.
I mean,
first
it's fun.
I'll give you an unbiased opinion if I have any idea what's going on right now.
I had no idea what was going on.
That's all you remember, not knowing what was going on.
But there's a lot of plot lines, plot threads that didn't get completely resolved in the show because it was only one season, and they resolved them in the movie, so it was satisfying. But then you're just
the
like,
story of Joss Whedon's life until the Avengers is underperforming or
there's comics
failing.
Yeah,
and then he went right back to it with Justice League.
Yeah, that's true. Good point.
Yep.
Yeah. The man knows how to write characters, though.
or Age of Ultron.
Because they change at the very end of the movie, and suddenly it's like everyone's a comedian.
I mean, I don't really think that he had a lot to do with that. That was a sinking ship. I think he just got a paycheck.
The Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill stash.
The mustache. That was all him. Bring it back. Even if it's movie
the Snyder cut
for like 3 hours, I think I'd rather watch that.
Stash, though, it was necessary for Mission Impossible Fallout. Paramount was like, he can't get rid of it. He can't get rid of it. It's an important part of the movie.
Because he had like 3/4 of a beard underneath that full-grown mustache. I didn't understand it. I watched it on the plane ride to Hawaii, and I was like, why does he have a full mustache and most of a beard?
I don't know. I can't answer that.
That's a strange aesthetic. If he trimmed the mustache, it would have
Warner Brothers just they didn't want to spend the money.
It would have all been the same length, and it would have been like, he looks like a normal man.
Well, nobody really watched the movie. Did pretty bad, so he was better off keeping the stash. Justice League. Keeping the stash was the right decision. The movie did way better.
Yeah, probably.
I saw it in theaters.
I watched Justice League in theaters. I didn't hate it as much as everyone else did. I liked it a lot better than Batman vs Superman.
I liked it more than Batman vs Superman as well.
It's just it doesn't feel like a full movie, and that's sad.
Oh well, they'll get their chance eventually. It does, and anyway, we're getting we're getting the new Batman movies. We're getting Robert Pattinson back. He's taking over the Cape and Cowl, and that's gonna be pretty exciting.
Yeah,
definitely.
All right, Doug, what do you got? What are you cooking up?
Yeah, so I went with Fringe, and I know I'm being a little greedy with Fringe because Netflix did the extra season, and so you kind of got a conclusion with Fringe. But I want more. I love the cast of Fringe: Joshua Jackson, Anna Torv, and then powerhouse John Noble. It just kills it throughout that entire TV show, and basically is a joy to watch throughout. So I'd love to see them together. And just it ended well. Had a very nice conclusion, but fuck it, bring them back.
All right.
Famous
something I just realized: all three of you had shows from Fox in the 2000s.
Oh wow!
Who would have
Interesting.
thought the Fox had so many
Oh,
good
wow.
shows?
I mean, they were kind of like. I feel like Fox puts out the best TV shows, just sort of like in mass. If you want to talk like successful,
and if we didn't already
numbers.
get so many Arrested Development reunions, there was a good chance that I would have had that.
So sick
but
of them.
at this point, we do not need another Arrested Development reunion.
If it ended at season 3, I'd be clamoring for it.
So
the one where they all filmed separately. That killed it for
exactly.
me.
So, Doug, are you saying we should add Fringe to like our watch lists? Because I don't think any of us here have watched it.
My dad loves that.
Dad's a
show.
big Fringe guy.
He's a big anything on TV guy. But
So
sci-fi, it's his wheelhouse.
The sci-fi aspect I always enjoy, but the acting in that show, particularly John Noble, is awesome. The man just like kills it throughout. He's lovable, endearing. I mean, I think it's a shame that man never earned an Emmy for his role on Fringe.
Damn.
I think he
So you
deserved
just
it.
want this extra season so he can get his Emmy now.
Give the man his Emmy.
It'd be easier than ever. There's no competition right now within television.
That's true.
It's going to be him and battling it out with Odenkirk.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like Odenkirk's just running to the finish line.
He
right
better.
now.
There's something
the whole
wrong.
cast
They
is like,
all
all
are
right.
there.
Yeah. I mean, there was no Maisel season this year, right? Because that's
When did that last air?
man. Probably not. I don't think this year. I think it was the
So
end.
that
of
would
last
be
year.
up for like awards this year then. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They go on like
show's
a
a
September
powerhouse.
to June like time frame, or a June to June time frame. All right, and then
Fantastic show.
the show that I picked, which I believe probably all of you have watched, is Freaks and Geeks. So we've seen plenty of reunions with the actors on that show over the years, Franco and Seth Rogen and stuff. Knocked Up, you basically had a third of the cast all in it, with Jason Segel, with Martin Starr. I almost said Martin Short. Martin Short was not in Knocked Up. I don't even think he made a cameo in Freaks and Geeks. But Freaks and Geeks would be what I'd want to see. It'd be cool if they could do some sort of maybe use this time to write some sort of a 20-year reunion episode or something like that. Just a natural way to do it. The episode, I guess, would take place in around Y2K, which could be pretty funny. You can get some good at this point, it's like a period piece being in the early 2000s, but you can get some really funny references with that. And I think it would just be really cool to see that whole cast, who pretty much everyone on there has had a solid degree of success since that show ended, and especially with the creative team with Judd Apatow, Paul Feig. If they were involved in writing and shaping this project, I think it could be a very well written and emotional reunion. I don't think anyone from the cast has passed away. I'm pretty sure the parents are both still alive. You can get Biff Tannen back, since he was in that as well. But that would be the reunion that I would like to see. I just think it'd be a good time. What do you guys think? Would that be something you guys want to watch, since you are all familiar with Freaks and Geeks?
Oh, for sure. I mean, just because it's like such a grounded piece in that time, it would be cool to see it being grounded in another time. As long as they bring back that weird kid with the mustache that is the dungeon master for when they play D&D.
Yes.
That's my only.
They would have to bring back Harris.
It's my break.
I definitely agree with that. Doug, do you watch Freaks and Geeks?
I did.
Now, would you?
Been a while, so bit I'd probably have to go back and rewatch it before there was any sort of reunion. But I mean, it's a powerhouse cast, so I mean, of course, I'd be down to see that again. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, that was kind of really what I was thinking was what for both the reunions, like what cast would be just like an entertaining group of people to be back together in any form of a reunion. And that was what I came up with.
Just a quick tag along to that in the same vein. Spaced would be another great show to see again with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, and that whole cast would be fantastic.
Edgar Wright,
just like a show.
Yeah, Edgar Wright actually was like live tweeting a marathon of the show, maybe a week or two ago. So he's definitely in that spaced mindset right now. And God, I would love to see that show and just be anything with Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, and Nick Frost back together, because they are the greatest, probably the greatest comedic writing, directing, acting group of this century.
Yeah, easily.
So for the uninitiated, I've never even really heard of Spaced. What is it? I mean, I'm guessing it's like a British show based on the names that were mentioned.
Yeah, it's just Simon Pegg and I forget the actress's name. She was in Shaun of the Dead briefly. They get together and they pretend that they're a couple and to rent a loft in like a nice neighborhood, and it's just got all of Simon Pegg. You know, it's got Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, a couple other actors and actresses that he uses in all his movies, and it's just they just do wacky stuff. It's like a very episodic, goofy sitcom.
Yeah, like they
but it's fantastic.
Very like 90s pop culture. Like they're ripping on episode 1. They have Resident Evil references. They do like that sort of parody of the original game on PlayStation. They have the gunfight, which kind of reminds me of like Community and Paintball.
Yep.
It's a quick watch, 2 seasons.
It's fantastic.
I think both of them are like 6 episodes, nothing crazy at all, or maybe 8 episodes. So, yeah, anyone who likes Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, those movies, it's worth a watch. And is it on Netflix?
That's where it all came from.
Is it on Netflix now? I think that was how I originally watched it, was Netflix.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. That sounds awesome.
All right, cool. But let's... it's on Hulu. There you go.
Crap, I don't have Hulu.
You really got to get Hulu. How many times do we talk about how you need to get Hulu to watch like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and all these other things?
I know. Maybe I can find a way to get into another free trial or something.
You'll get it in 5 years, just like how you waited to get a smartphone because you didn't want to pay for data. Eventually, you'll get it.
Yeah, I'll break down. They'll get me.
All right, but let's go to the last segment of the night or day. Depends on whenever people are listening to this shit. And that is our recommendations of things that we've been watching over the past week. So we'll start with ones that a bunch of us have watched. Let you know our thoughts on them. I believe there's only one this week, which is Rick and Morty. And then we'll move on to our individual recommendations. One recommendation from each of us for what we think is worth your time to watch. So first up, let's talk Rick and Morty. Season 4, Part B have started. We're 3 episodes in right now. I believe all 3 of them. JP, Doug, and myself have all watched 2 of them so far. What do you guys think of the season so far?
For me, it's a little uneven. The first episode of Part B was probably one of the episodes I've enjoyed the least. I mean, they went meta, but they went probably too meta for me. Too much making fun of themselves, where a lot of the humor just didn't land. The second episode coming back, I thought was an improvement. It felt more like classic Rick and Morty. They were making fun of the Aliens movies, which are movies that I know very well and could appreciate some of the humor that they were going with for that one. But the first one on the train just was too much meta for me. I'm guessing it hit with some people. It was too much for me.
Well, I mean, you got to have a really high IQ to like this show.
Yeah, that's probably.
I have heard that.
Yeah.
But you need to be very.
So you got to be tested before
smart
you even start
Rick and
looking.
Morty.
Yeah,
like unusually
So
smart.
I'm just a dumbass.
Oh yeah, like
Yes.
200 plus.
Ivy League, nothing less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mensa, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
it all went over my head.
Which is fair.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm the same with you. It's just like this whole season itself, even the first half, has just sort of felt flat. Like I'm looking for something better, and they're just like, I thought the snake one was pretty funny. That ended the last
snake jazz.
half. I found myself laughing at that. It was pretty great, just because the snakes were making noises at each other, but reenacting U.S. history or world history because there were snake Nazis in it. Yeah, but like the first meta one was just like we turned it on and me and my wife just sort of zoned out, and then it was over and we are like, yay, it's over. The second one was slightly better. I hope it sort of begins to trend up and comes back to where it's going, but I feel like it's sort of like starting its decline.
Yeah.
And I hope not. I really hope
I
not.
agree with both of you, both on the episodes this season so far, or this half season, and then the previous half season. Just seems very up and down. Like you'll get a good one, and then you'll get one that just kind of falls flat. It's reminding me of Community and how the first 3 seasons were like the shit, and then
Something new.
and then they just kind of I don't know, like experimented too much, and they're getting too smart for their own good. I mean, too Mensa smart. Like
Too many.
we just can't handle
in the
it.
world.
But the second episode I thought was more enjoyable. I think they need to bring things back to basics. Just make it more, get the rest of the family more involved. I mean, how the fuck do you have Chris Parnell on your show and Jerry's barely been in it so far? Like the tag at the end of the second episode might have been my favorite part of both of them so far, where he's like dealing with the bees, and Summer's friend is just keeps like talking, like insinuating about how she thinks Jerry's like hot. Finally, she's just like, I want to fuck your dad. And I thought that was probably the funniest part of both episodes so far. And Jerry doesn't even say anything, but just the fact that like it's about his character, he's just so funny. So I think it needs to bring the whole family back into play more, for it to work at like peak Rick and Morty level.
Yeah, like a Rick and Morty only episode's good on occasion.
Yeah.
But when they're all together, like
you're going to get at least one great like back and forth between them. I forget if it was the first or second one where they're talking about Pornhub, and
it was the second one.
Yeah, I think it was like the beginning of
because it was when they were flying back from the alien planet.
I thought that part was hysterical. But overall,
I'm a 14-year-old boy. That's what I do. It knows my preference.
Okay, you sold me. But otherwise, I just think it's missing something when it doesn't when it just has the two of them. I would agree with that.
For sure.
But hopefully we got 3 episodes left.
100%.
Hopefully it picks up, and by the end of that season we'll revisit it and we're happy with how it ended. Because we're probably going to have a long wait before the next season.
Supposedly not, though. I thought they were supposed to be cranking out episodes left and right.
Who knows?
These days.
Solar opposites now, man.
I mean, Dan Harmon's idea of cranking out episodes is probably very different from what our idea of cranking out episodes is. We'll see a new season next, like more episodes this time next year, maybe, versus like 18 months to 2 years. But as for your recommendations for the week. You guys want to run through what you got?
Yeah, I'll jump in. So the one show that I watched, I'm trying to think because I watched a bunch of stuff. The one recommendation, I'm going to go with Servant. It's a Apple TV Plus exclusive. I bought a new computer, so I got a year of Apple TV Plus with it randomly. I guess they're just trying to give it away. So I was looking at a bunch of shows online like that were worth watching. So that was one of them. And it was actually really, really good. It's an M. Night Shyamalan show. I don't know if he definitely didn't direct it, but he was executive producer. I don't know if he, it's pretty spooky, but it's not, it feels like something that he would direct. Like, it's very tense. I watched the entire first season, and like the twists and turns are all over the place. So they do a very good job kind of keeping you guessing until the end of the season. And they don't even really, there's just a lot of stuff that goes on. And I believe it got picked up for another season. But it's really good. Rupert Grint's in it, and he's awesome. Haven't seen him acting in a very long time.
Since Harry Potter ended.
I think he was definitely in something that I saw, but regardless, because the show takes place in Philadelphia, so he has a American accent and a very believable one at that, and his character is really good. So, yeah, I mean, that's a show I definitely recommend. It was
check
really,
back
really
with
good.
us when you finish the season. Tell us all about the twist that inevitably happens, and whether it's a good one or a bad one. So,
what's the like premise of Servant?
Yes. So the premise of the show is, wealthy 30-something couple. They lose their child in childbirth. Well, not childbirth. The baby is born already. They lose it within the first 6 weeks of the child being born. Like sudden, infant death syndrome, like that type of thing. And the wife goes catatonic, and the only way that they tried to get her back was to instate a replica doll of their child. So they're all acting to try to keep the mother like afloat, and then the servant gets brought in. They hire a servant, and she knows exactly what's going on, but she's definitely like evil.
Interesting.
There's a lot of plot twists. Yeah, there's
plot twists in terms.
They've all been servants.
The twist is no one's a servant the whole time.
The servants are actually the ones being served.
Bruce Willis was a servant the entire time.
The tables turn quite a bit, and it's the episodes are actually rather short. They're like 30, but they're very similar to Mandalorian. How they went from, some episodes were 37 minutes, 39 minutes, and then some were 29. So they kind of jumped all over the place, but the pacing of each episode was actually like really well done. I was impressed. Like, just gave you enough information. And the tables turned quite a bit throughout the show. I have like one episode left or two. So, but I definitely recommend it. It's not scary in like a horror movie sense. It's very tense. It reminds me like an M. Night Shyamalan movie. Like it has like that type of signature tense moods to it. So
awesome. I'll jump right into my pick. I just started watching the Amazon Prime show Upload. It's with Robbie ML, who's Stephen Amell, Green Arrow's cousin, I believe. He's in the Duff too. I don't really know what else he's been
That's
in.
a resounding endorsement.
Is that the one with Egg from Arrested Development?
The Duff.
That's the one with Egg. Yeah, Egg.
Yeah. It's but the show, just in a nutshell, is it takes place in the future, 2030 or something along those lines, but we're wealthy people instead of actually dying when they can get uploaded into this paradise. And so
So it's a Black Mirror episode, but
it's basically a Black Mirror episode. It's really dark, really it's really dark in undertones, really makes you contemplate the meaning of life, but it's lighthearted, it's humorous, and that just kind of dwells underneath it all. It's interesting. I liked it. I'm liking it so far, but it's fun. It's not.
I still can't believe we've talked about the Designated Fat Friend movie.
Robbie Amell from the Duff.
No, sorry, Designated Ugly Fat Friend. How the fuck did they convince anyone to be in that movie with that title?
Fat Friend, yes, yeah. That was a fantastic meme for about 15 minutes. Then they made a movie about it like 3 years later. Is that the one that Doug wouldn't know? Is that the one that I get bombarded with for ads watching Hulu?
I'm not on there that often.
Probably. Okay. I didn't know if like every other commercial is that.
It got me. They got me with ads where I was like, "Oh, that sounds interesting. I'll check it out." It's got Robbie Amell. How bad could it be?
There you go.
So that's my recommendation.
The Not So Green Arrow.
The Not So Green.
I could do the third one. What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show. Watch it. It's fantastic. Just vampires living in Staten Island, doing vampire things. I've watched it 2 times straight through already. It's a season and a half. It's still going on. It's easily my most look forward to day of the week. Thursdays.
Wow.
Yeah, it premieres on FX on Wednesday. I watched it on Hulu on Thursday. It is fantastic. Mark
I saw
Hamill
he was on
the last episode as a vampire, and oh man, and Eric Berry's on that show. He's a fantastic British actor. He is one of the funniest people I've ever seen in my life. He's on the IT Crowd. He's on Toast of London. He is a hilarious
Have you seen the movie?
Human being, and he makes that show, and it's great. And Taika Waititi. No one for so it's no characters from the movie, but it's in the same vein. It's 3 roommates living together, conventional vampires, and they have a psychic vampire who's just this normal guy who bores people, and he feeds off people when he bores them. Taika Waititi, Jermaine Clement, who I love, and the other guy from the movie who I don't remember his name. They appear in one of the episodes, and a bunch of actors that have played vampires in movies, such as Evan Rachel Wood, Wesley Snipes shows up.
Oh wow!
Danny Trejo, Paul Rubens, and Tilda Swinton. Oh, fantastic! Absolutely fantastic.
I'm definitely going to check that out.
I highly recommend.
I just want to watch the movie first,
it's a great
even though it is not related. Interesting.
I wasn't a big fan of the movie, and I love the TV show. I felt like the movie dragged on too long, and the TV show is the perfect bite.
All right. Well, yeah. Once I watch it, I will be sure to update everyone on what I think. But as for my pick, The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary, it had its final 2 installments this past Sunday, and it is it was an awesome 10-part series. I learned a lot about Jordan, the Bulls, everything going on with that organization that I had no idea about. I mean, we were in elementary school when those championship runs happened. I think we were even in like preschool when it first started, the championship runs. The first one was, I think, June of 91.
Like 92, 93.
So I think the first 2 we weren't even in elementary school yet. And then everything, and watching Jordan get drafted in the mid 80s and everything.
Yeah.
All the tough years where they were getting their ass kicked, literally getting their asses beaten down by the Detroit Pistons. It was just a fascinating thing to watch. Elevated my respect for Jordan, and made me realize more than I had from watching Space Jam and watching him on on the Wizards and in Hanes commercials with Hitler mustaches. Just how much of a he tried to, didn't work out. Just how fierce a competitor and a demanding teammate and a win at all cost, super freak athlete he was, and people who got to watch him are so damn lucky because just the stuff that they showed was just phenomenal. So if you guys are remotely interested in basketball, or anyone listening, The Last Dance, it's on ESPN. You can watch it on demand. Highly recommend. And how could I forget about that part of his legacy?
And a fantastic baseball player to boot.
No, it had a whole episode.
Do they touch on that at all?
Yeah.
Like why he went to go play
episode
baseball?
6 or 7 was that one.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah, episode 7. So check that one out if you're interested. But that's all we got for this week. Hope everyone enjoyed, and we will be back to talk some more movies, TV, give you more of our recommendations, and just ramble on. Like I said, we're just 4 friends who love movies. So we hope you enjoyed the conversation and tune back in next time. So this is JP, Doug, Corey, and Murph signing off, and we will see you later.